Coming up on the 1-0 Sports Show, football is back. The Texas spring game tomorrow. We'll get you ready to go for that. We've got some way too early 2023 predictions. And, of course, we got to talk some NBA playoffs. Coming up on the 1-0 Sports Show.
Texas finally 1-0, finally riding for the brand.
And I'm getting back on my soapbox saying that if they just hit and rap and drive, then that play doesn't happen.
You heard it here first from Hunter. Book your plane tickets to Omaha today.
But we're not done yet.
No, shot.
Are you kidding me? So that's the third time.
That's terrible.
Did you believe this was possible at the beginning of the season?
Oh, I always believe.
I always drink the Kool-Aid.
That's why I'm in for the Cowboys sign right now.
Welcome into the 1-0 Sports Show. I'm Adam Ogburn, joined alongside by Michael Alvarez. Michael, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. It's great to have you back in front of the camera, Adam. It's been maybe a few weeks.
Yeah.
I bet every fan out there is excited too.
For sure. It's good to be back. The weeks are winding down. I think we've only got 2 more 1-0s after this for the semester, so definitely want to have a little bit more fun before the semester's over.
Of course.
We've got a lot to talk about today. Obviously, we got the spring game and then the NBA playoffs coming up, so let's jump right into it with our weekly, who's hot, who's not. Gotta start the show like this every week. So, Michael, who's hot for you?
I got to go with the Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, they're 13-0, the best record in MLB, their best record, I think, since 1800s, I read.
Dang.
They're led by Randy Anzarina, who was a star tournament from Mexico, who hit over, I think, batting average of 450, which was pretty impressive. I mean, he leads the team in RBIs with 16 and has the top 3 batting average on the team with .13. But many are saying it's the culture in Tampa Bay that might be pushing him towards this swing.
13-0 is insane. You never see that in baseball. I don't know. I feel like that's got to be a record for a long time. I
Yes.
haven't gotten up to date on exactly how many years it dates back, but man, those Tampa Bay Rays, they're hot right now. They definitely established themselves as the real contender in the American League.
Yes.
For my who's hot, I'm going to go over to basketball. We had the playing games earlier this week. How about just the whole DeRozan family? You got his daughter, DR, his 9-year-old daughter. Watch this. Every time the Raptors prepare to shoot a free throw, she's going to scream at the top of her lungs. The Raptors went 18 of 36 from the free throw line. Look at her fired up at about another free throw miss. And then her dad, DeMar, he had a pretty good game too. He dropped 23. The Bulls are down by 19 in this game. They come roaring back to get a huge victory in the playing games, which is a great night for the DeRozan family. DR turning herself into a national sensation overnight.
Oh, yes, but sadly, DeMar did say she has to go back to school for Miami, so we're not gonna get Steer out there, but hopefully they can keep up the momentum.
That's an unfortunate one. I saw United was even offering her a free flight if she wanted to get down there, but shout out to DeMar. Good dad move right there. School comes first.
Oh yeah.
For his daughter. Michael, let's go to the opposite now. Who's not hot for you?
Even though they haven't played in a while, I got to go with the Texas men's basketball team. I mean, we knew they were going to lose Carr, Rice, Bishop, and Timmy Allen. That was what we saw. We thought we were going to see a lot of new faces, young new faces pop up, but we didn't quite predict the turmoil they're in right now. I mean, there was a chance that Mitchell was going to go to the draft. I don't think anyone saw Tyrese Hunter declaring. What's it called? Morris entered the portal, which I don't think is too random. He didn't have a lot of playing time last year, but I thought obviously he's going to step up to a bigger role this time. He didn't trust the process. And then we also lost, Dessou was also unlikely to come back. And then also A.J. Johnson just decommitted for an Australian league, I think yesterday. So obviously it's tough. I think RT needs to find some talent in the portal.
Definitely a huge loss there. We're going to talk about this more in just a bit. But yeah, definitely a lot of question marks. Right now it's Brock Cunningham and Alex Anamike. Those are the only 2 returning scholarship players back on the Texas roster. So a lot of work to do for RT in the offseason. Like I said, we'll break it all down here in just a couple minutes. My who's not for the week, Taylor Rogers' glove. Taylor Rogers had a tough outing against the Dodgers. He came on in the 6th, threw 30 pitches, walked 4 batters, including this, where he let the pitch clock expire. This is his 30th pitch, a 15-pitch at-bat where he walked Freddie Freeman, and he's done with it. He's done with the glove. Watch this in the dugout. They're moving from the game. He says, yeah, that's going in the trash. Throws his glove away. obviously that glove wasn't working, and then he's going to let a little bit of frustration out, a little bit later. Just not that you wanted 30 pitches, no outs, 4 walks, and you give up. Ends up being charged with 4 earned runs in the game.
Oh, I mean, sometimes it is the glaze, sometimes it is the equipment. Sometimes you just got to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Who knows? That could be the problem.
Start from scratch. So hopefully the new glove will give him a little bit better luck. Now let's move into the big talking point this week, and that's the NBA play-in games.
Oh, yes.
4 games already played. We did 2 final play-in games tonight, decide the last 2 teams in the playoffs. But, Michael, let's take a look back to the first 4 this week. What really stood out to you from the games on Tuesday and Wednesday?
Obviously, the Raptors couldn't handle the DeRozans, as you already mentioned previously. The Heat looked awful against the Hawks. Jimmy was a non-factor, and the 3-point problems they had all year did spike up that game. The Thunder looked like they could have a legit push towards the playoffs, especially with the Pelicans losing Zion because he just decided, quote unquote, he did not feel like playing because he didn't feel like himself or whatever the case is with that. I think that hurts.
I saw him dunking in the warm-up.
Yeah, he was, and then he didn't play. I thought it was very interesting. The Lakers looked a little sluggish against the Wolves, who were down a few people, and Ant did not look like himself at all. He had an awful game. I think he shot 3 for 17, only like 9 points. It was just and with no McDaniel, no Gobert, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, I mean the Timberwolves. It just seems like they just don't have that pedigree to get over the hump. Yeah, this has really been a franchise that's been really barren pretty much the last decade and a half, and you kind of saw as they let slip away. And LeBron and AD, LeBron with 30, AD at 24, kind of willing the Lakers to victory just with their experience. And you mentioned too the Heat just outclassed at home by a lower seed. Pretty embarrassing there. Big game for the DeRozans. And how about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the clutch?
Oh yeah.
Pelicans team that looked really good at the beginning of the year, and now I'm sure
Injuries.
Samantha Pro had to write a really unhappy press release on Wednesday night about another blown opportunity for the Pelicans, which is a team that looks like it has a lot of talent, but like you said, Zion just seems to not be able to stay healthy. So we'll have our predictions. We got the final playing games tonight. We'll have those predictions coming up later in the show, but now let's look past tonight's games towards this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. We've got some pretty good first-round matchups. Mike, what first-round match were you most excited to see in the NBA playoffs?
I think out of all the ones that I was kind of pushing my head towards, I think the Suns-Clippers is my favorite. I mean, you get KD versus Russ in a playoff situation. I mean, you haven't seen that. You haven't seen that since their breakup.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's also a first look at this what the Suns team is going to do. I mean, with Kevin Durant, they're undefeated. So they, I think. They're a favorite coming out of the West, but the Clippers are also not a team you want to sleep on. Yeah. Especially if Paul George can become healthy, and I mean with Kawhi and Paul George together, they're a strong duo. I think that's probably my favorite to see.
I feel like with both those teams, those are teams that are sleepers to not only just win a series, but those are sleepers to maybe go all the way. The West is just so wide open. There doesn't really seem to be anyone that has a stranglehold on the conference. Kind of going off that, I'm going to go with the other big Western Conference matchup. How about the Kings and Warriors, a little California showdown? The storyline's rife there. It's the underdog Sacramento Kings. Haven't been in the playoffs in 16 years. I believe it was one of the longest droughts maybe the longest drought in the 4 major sports against the Golden State Warriors, the defending champs, the dynasty with Steph Curry and company. Great storylines there, a little California rivalry. Can the underdog, the higher seed Kings, the underdog really get it done against the big bad Warriors? I'm excited to see that one. The Warriors did win 2 of their first 3 matchups, but those were all in the first 13 games, and the only other time they played, it was rife with really backups. It was just a week or so ago. So, man, I'm excited to see this California showdown. I'm excited to see can the Kings handle the spotlight and return to the playoffs.
I mean, also people got to forget the Warriors were an awful road team this year. I don't think playoff basketball is obviously different, but that does play a factor. And they struggled on the road. They have to play 4. They had to play 4 over there if it goes down to that. So that could hurt them.
For sure. The West is going to be fun to watch this year. Got a couple East. You got some question marks too, but I think the West is wide open. Now, finally, let's get back to Texas men's basketball because my goodness, it has been a whirlwind week. Arterio Morris in the portal, Dylan Mitchell, and Tyrese Hunter have declared for the draft. And then, Michael, like you mentioned, Dylan Dessou, we're not really sure if he's going to come back for his COVID year. And then you've obviously got the seniors who have left the team. It's a pretty barren roster right now. Mike, is it time to hit the panic button?
I think I don't think it's time to hit the panic button per se, but I think as a fan and as a team, you should be maybe a tiny bit concerned. I mean, you thought what you thought was going to come in this season, kind of slipping away. It could disappear completely. I mean, they're working on the. I think there's one person there in the transfer portal they're working on right now, Max Abrams, who was from Oral Roberts. He had 22, 5, and 4 last year. Great season, and then but they're fighting with K-State for that spot right now. Those are the two teams he's torn between. But then you also have Ron Holland coming in, who was the All-Star MVP of the. The MVP of the All-American game. So, I mean, he's a 5-star talent. I think he can help definitely put the push, but they're going to need more talent around him.
I feel like, too, if I had to make a prediction, I think Tyrese Hunter comes back, and I think Dylan Dessou comes back. I don't think Dylan Mitchell comes back. Even if Dylan Mitchell pulls out of the draft, I think he's going to transfer just because with his goodbye letter, it just didn't really seem that he left a door open to return. So I think hopefully they'll get those two guys back. But yeah, like you said, transfer portal is going to be huge. Max Asmus almost gives me a little bit of Serge Jabari Rice, just like a mid-major guy you can bring in that's going to be a significant bucket getter for your team. Definitely be interesting if they get him. I think if they get him, that's a big boost. But RT, he's going to have to go get, 4, 5, 6 guys from the transfer portal. It's going to be almost like the team 2 years ago where it was a bunch of portal guys coming in when they got Timmy Allen, Marcus Carr, Dylan Dessou, and the whole lot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that team was very talented, but obviously you see they all came in from different places. It's going to be a tough first start for them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think for what we definitely saw last year, they're going to take a step back.
RT, he's a player's coach. He's going to need to work his magic next year with pretty much an entirely new roster. And he's got to keep working his magic, make sure Ron Holland doesn't get any ideas from AJ Johnson there. So, well, that's going to wrap it up for our first block. But when we come back, Will Iger, he's going to join the show and help us break down the highlights of the week. You won't want to miss it. Coming up on the 1-0 Sports Show. 1-0 Sports right now, joined by Will Iger. Will, how are you doing this morning?
I'm great, Adam. Thank you for having me. Michael, you too. Thanks for having me on.
Great to have you around.
Good stuff, man. It's good to have you on, and we're about to jump into one of our favorite segments of each week's show. It's time for Versus. Basically how this works, Mike and I, we each brought a highlight that we think best fits a category, and Will, he's on the judge. He's in to tell us which play is better or worse than the other. So let's start with some positivity. Let's go. We just talked a bunch about the play-in. Let's now find the best play from the play-in game. Michael, which one did you think it was?
I got to go with the Raptors game with Fred VanVleet half-court buzzer beater at halftime. I mean, he had, I think, 3 guys on him at one point to where he just kind of stepped 1 foot in, kind of just launched it. Flag. I mean, this is when that team was winning. They went up 11. They went up double digits at half. They were hot. This is before all the free throws kind of fumbled them down. But I think great shot there, and I thought it was pretty impressive.
DeAndre DeRozan obviously wasn't screaming during that shot.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. I'm going to go over to the Western Conference. How about Thunder and Pelicans in the clutch? Thunder down by 1, needing a bucket. And, drum roll, please. Yeah, we have the video. There we go, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Look at this. Driving the lane, a little step back, and he nails it
Tough
to give
shot.
the Thunders the go-ahead bucket. It may not be the most incredible play you've ever seen, but it's a tough bucket in the clutch to win your team a playoff game. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander gets my nod. So you got the nice half-court buzzer beater. You got the go-ahead bucket. Will, which one impressed you the most in the play-in?
Oh, it's a tough one, but I gotta go with the SGA game winner. In my opinion, there's nothing better than a go-ahead shot in the playoffs. It's a huge shot by SGA. Great win for the Thunder. So I'm picking SGA here.
Okay.
Now let's go over to America's pastime. How about some baseball? What's your best MLB play of the week, Michael? Let's start with you.
I had Luis Castillo catching a ball behind his back after he pitched it against the Angels this past week. I mean, you see it every now and then, but it's always pretty impressive to see a play like that. I mean, the ball just flings. When it comes, I mean, I don't know if I could ever do that. I don't think I could ever play anything in baseball. When the ball comes right at you, don't even look at it. Just hope it falls in the glove.
So my question is, does he know what he's doing there? Or is he just sticking out the glove and hoping?
I think he's just hoping. I see him hoping, and then they get lucky. So I mean, it's a lucky play, but it happened at the same time. So I mean,
the glove's got to be there to make the catch.
Oh yeah,
some skill. That's pretty crazy, man. For my play, how about this? Giants and Dodgers. Shout out Bryce Johnson on this one. Let's get the highlight rolling right here. Maybe. Oh, I didn't scale it right. Well, we're going to get a little zoomed in version of this catch. How about Bryce Johnson flying into the wall, sacrificing his body. Johnson actually had to leave the game after this catch. Yeah, you can see he's feeling it there. But this one, it was a moonshot out to center field. And Bryce Johnson said, no, sir, flies into the wall, makes the grab.
Body on the
How about that? So, 2 impressive catches right there. Will, which one do you think is better?
Another tough decision, man. You guys are making it tough on me. Even though I am a Dodgers fan, I think I have to go with the Bryce Johnson catch. Sacrificed his body, made a huge play, crucial play in the game.
Put his body on the line.
So I'm going to go with the Johnson catch.
Good stuff. Well, we're going to stick with some baseball. Now we talked about Major League Baseball. Now let's look at some college baseball / softball best play of the week. Michael, what you got?
I got Auburn, Georgia Tech, extra innings, Jackson Finley, walk-off grand slam. It's not a walk-off RBI, it's a walk-off grand slam. I mean, they had gotten the previous, I think Georgia Tech was up by, 6 points, 6 runs at one point in this game. Auburn just forced their second out of the inning, and they were that close, but they leave it in the grand slam to close it off. Tough way to go out. I just thought.
Pretty much the most emphatic way to win a baseball game right there.
Oh, yeah.
Big old grand slam. I did some digging. How about let's go down to the little SoCon baseball action. Elon, how about this insane ricochet catch? Let's see. It's a pop-up behind the plate. Look at this. Catcher Luke Stevenson. He's going to kind of drop it, but he's going to get a little help from his friend Connor Coolan. Is going to dive and make the catch. Little teamwork making the dream work there for the Elon Phoenix. Here it is. Again, a little bit zoomed in. Off of Stevenson's glove. And the diving catch by Coolan. So, well, 2 more dramatic plays. Which one's the best NCAA baseball play of the week?
Oh, I think I'm going to have to go with the walk-off grand slam. Just like the SGA game winner, kind of there's nothing better than a walk-off, especially Grand Slam in baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing more exciting in my opinion. So I'm going to take Georgia Tech here and Jackson Finley's walk-off.
I wasn't watching closely enough. I hope there's a good bat flip in there. There's got to be a bat flip after you hit a walk-off
Oh,
Grand
yeah.
Slam.
Have to.
All right, let's go. We've been really, really positive so far. So let's go to the worst blooper of the week. Michael, what you got for us?
I got Travis Kelce returning to his hometown of Cleveland for the first pitch, and I don't think I've ever seen a first pitch maybe this bad. Him and Mama Kelce right there, coming up. They're ready. They're excited. Super Bowl champ right there.
Yeah.
He's ready. He's ready to put
Hometown
on.
hero.
Oh yeah. I mean, look at the.
Oh, he's hyping up the crowd.
Hyping up the crowd. He's getting them ready for this god awful first pitch. God awful first pitch. And let me make it better. Let me go hug the catcher real quick. That might make it better. That might make it look a little better on my resume. But I've never seen it that bad.
The mascot just ran off. The mascot didn't know what to do with it. Oh man. Well, I'm going to go to some minor league baseball. How about the Rocket City Trash Pandas, the
trash
affiliate of the Los Angeles Angels? They're throwing a no-hitter right here. They walk in a run, and then this happens. Look, it's a deep fly ball center field. Should be easy third out. And he drops it. Gives up three runs. They're still throwing a no-hitter. They're still throwing a no-hitter, and it's now 4-3. They're losing despite throwing a no-hitter. But we're not done, right? Then he nails another batter after they've walked a couple more, and then we're going to walk one to make it 6-3, and then we're going to do a wild pitch. That makes it 7-3. Guys, the Rocket City Trash Pandas threw a no-hitter and lost 7-5 because in the 7th inning, they gave up 5 walks, hit 4 batters with a pitch, had a wild pitch, and an error.
Jeez, okay, walks maybe I can get, but hitting 4 batters is crazy.
So,
That's
oh
man.
Minor league baseball at its finest. That's maybe the biggest blooper of the century. I don't know how you throw a no-hitter and lose by 7 runs and put up that stat line in 1 inning.
You know what, Adam? I'm going to have to agree with you on this one. The Rocket City Trash Pandas. How do you lose a game when throwing a no-hitter? I mean, I gotta go with that one for best blooper of the week.
I gotta agree with you there.
Right?
I mean, I got.
How can you not?
I understand if you lose 1-0, like you have 1. They gave up 7 runs. They hit, like you said,
After a no-hitter.
How do you hit 4 guys in 1 inning?
That's baffling. I'm not gonna. That's kind of funny.
Oh man, I can't wait for the pitching drills this
Well, I mean, they are.
We're on control.
They are the Trash Pandas.
That's what
So
I'm saying.
I guess it kind of makes sense. They lived after their name.
Well,
Oh man.
let's finally end. Let's end on an upbeat note. We've talked about a lot of sports, so we left this one open in interpretation. We said best miscellaneous sports play. Any sport you can find. Michael, what you got for us?
When it comes to this, I had to go with hockey, and the best part of hockey is the fighting. I have a full-on fist fight between a Jets and Wilds player in this pre. I mean, look, they're just, oh my goodness. It's like, the refs like, let me just watch this.
Yeah.
They'll let them throw it a little bit. It's kind of getting out. Hey, they go to the ground. Okay, now we stop it.
Someone needs to get those guys in boxing.
Oh yeah, they'll get those guys. At least the players liked it. They're like, that's a good fight.
Yeah.
That's a good fight. That's what I love about hockey. I like that they let them fight for a second. That's my favorite part about it. They don't break it up instantly. They're like, all right, you know what, y'all get the anger out,
It's
and then they stop it.
a 5-minute penalty, right?
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it
so
is.
you gotta get your. If you're gonna have to sit out for 5 minutes, man, you gotta make it worthwhile.
Oh man.
I feel like those guys certainly did.
Oh yeah. That was a good play. I enjoyed watching that one.
Well, I'm going to go to hockey as well. But this one is college hockey. This is the NCAA Hockey Championship. Quinnipiac taking on Minnesota. A little bit overtime action. This is just 10 seconds into overtime. And how about this? Jacob Keelan is going to win the game for Quinnipiac. Their first ever national championship in dramatic fashion. 10 seconds into overtime. It doesn't take long. Quinnipiac with a moment to remember right there. How about that to win a national championship in dramatic fashion? 2 good hockey plays, 2 very different hockey plays. Phil, which one impressed you the most?
Oh, I gotta go with the Quinnipiac game winner. I mean, first national championship ever. I'm a little bit biased because my cousin did go to school there. But I mean, there's nothing better than the Frozen Four postseason hockey, especially we got the NHL postseason coming up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the Quinnipiac game winner.
I feel like Minnesota had to have been favored in that game, not just because maybe they're higher seeding, but it's Minnesota. They're known for their snow. They're known for their hockey anywhere. So I mean, I thought that's a. Also, I'm pretty sure I watched Quinnipiac. I would look at them preseason basketball. I mean, they were a fun team to watch. I'm not gonna lie, but can't win them all.
That's that. Mike Alvarez saying Quinnipiac going to be a deep March Madness sleeper next year. Pencil them in your brackets.
Oh yeah.
Will, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It was good having you on.
Of course, thank you guys for having me. Always fun coming on.
Oh yeah.
When we come back, me and Mike Alvarez, we're maybe put our reputations a little bit on the line. We're going to make some way too early 2023 Texas football season predictions with some BS or real talk. You won't want to miss it. Coming up on the 1-0 Sports Show. Welcome back into the 1-0 Sports Show. It's time to talk a little bit of Texas football. We've got the spring football game coming up tomorrow, the orange-white game, and so, Michael, that means it's an excuse to take up 2 whole blocks talking about Texas football.
There we go.
We've got some way too early season predictions, and then Hunter Dworaczyk, he's going to join us in the next block to break down everything you need to know ahead of tomorrow's game. So, Michael, let's start. Let's look forward to next season. One of the big questions was at running back. Obviously, Bijan Robinson, Roschon Johnson, who could be top 3 round picks in the NFL draft. They're both gone, so big question backfield. So my question for you is Jonathan Brooks. He'll be the leading rusher for the Longhorns next season. Is that BS or real talk? What do you think?
I think it's BS. I do think he will get the majority snaps early on and maybe throughout the season, but I think Baxter makes the biggest difference. I mean, he's raved about on campus right now throughout the program, and I think he's recently he's taken first team reps. I think he will. He makes a big jump. I mean, they're saying he's starting to fill his shoes in the program, trying to fill it out, and I think I guess we'll just have to see come spring game.
Yeah, there's a little Jaden Blue action against Klein Kane. Jaden Blue's also back there.
Yeah.
I was going to say real talk for this, and I started digging a little bit. And yeah, C.J. Baxter, he's already getting first team reps. 5-star. He sounds like the real deal. I think Jonathan Brooks is the real deal, too. I've been really impressed with what I've seen about him in small doses. But I'm going to say BS as well. I think, like you said, I think this ends up being C.J. Baxter's backfield by the end of the season. I think it's honestly going to be a three-headed monster. I think we'll see Baxter, Brooks, and Blue all get carries. I think Keelan Robinson should be more used as a gadget guy, kind of coming out of the slot, those jet sweeps. So, but I'm going to say BS. I think it's going to be the Cedric Baxter show by the end of the year. I think Sark will have learned, or Texas football will learn that, especially when they had Bijan so talented as a freshman. If you got a talented freshman, he's ready to go. Put him in there. Sark said it doesn't seem like C.J. Baxter looks like a freshman. So that's pretty good news to hear. Let's go from running back to receiver, and one of the receivers that Texas fans are probably most excited to see is Isaiah Nayer, the Wyoming transfer. Was out for the season last year with an injury. He showed a glimpse with a huge touchdown catch in the spring game last year, but then Texas fans didn't get to see him in real game action. So will Nayer be one of the top 3 players in receiving yards for the Longhorns this year? BS or real talk? Michael, what do you think?
I got to go with real talk just because he's going to be one of the more veteran guys on the team. I think it was sad to see him go out before the season started last year. I mean, a terrible ACL tear in I think a scrimmage in practice. So I think he was supposed to be the 1-2 guy with Worthy, and Worthy kind of struggled last year. So I was thinking with Worthy struggling, he would even had a better season if he played. I think he's a name that you want to keep an eye out for. I mean, he's surrounded by a lot of good talent. A.D. Mitchell coming in. Obviously, Worthy's still there. I mean, it's going to be tough. There's a lot of talent around him, but I think he's a deep ball threat. I think he can definitely find his way into that rotation.
I'm gonna say BS, because I think I see him as the number 4 receiver. I think Worthy's still gonna be your star, especially coming back from a broken hand. Hopefully, he'll be fully healthy. You got Jordan Whittington, your reliable guy across the middle, gonna get a lot of targets, and then J.T. Sanders proved to be a pretty reliable target as well. So I think those are gonna be my top 3. I think Nayer 100% a deep ball threat. I just don't think he breaks in that top 3. I think he's probably right in there, number 4 or number 5, just depending on kind of what the A.D. Mitchell role looks like. So I would say BS. I think he's going to have a big impact on this team, but I just don't see him breaking into the top 3. I think the other 3 guys will just be a little bit more targeted and a little bit more consistent than Nayer.
I agree. I just think with the Jordan Whittington, I mean, he had very limited targets last year. I think that's where he kind of takes steps into his role there. I mean, Whittington's a great receiver. I mean, he's a great physical guy. I mean, I think they need to get him involved more for sure. But if that doesn't happen, I think he kind of hops in that step right there.
Whittington's got to stay healthy. That's the biggest question mark with him. You never seem to know with that. Well, we talked about running back and receiver. Now let's go over to the defense. So I was crunching some numbers yesterday, and the Texas defense allowed about 21.6 points per game last year. So BS or real talk? Texas will allow less than that amount this year. They'll allow 21 points per game or less this year. What do you think, Michael?
I think they have a lot. They definitely have a lot. I got to go with BS though. I mean, 21 points is a tough number to kind of stay under. I mean, that's just 3 scores from the Big 12, who's usually known as an offensive conference. I mean, you lose key players like Overshown and Jamison, that hurts. But Barron, who had an excellent season last year, led the team in interceptions, along with Jalen Ford, who was a leading tackler on the team, who was complemented by Anthony Hill Jr. this year. And then you also have Jalen Catalong, strong safety from Arkansas, coming in. Then you also have Gavin Holmes coming in from Wake Forest. And then, I mean, he's an excellent ball hawk, and not to mention Ryan Watts is also returning. I mean, I think that is definitely a strong team, but I think they might reach the 24. They might go under, maybe, but I think they might sit at maybe 24, maybe 22, maybe 21.
It'll probably be close.
Yeah, I think it'll be close.
I'm going to say real talk. I'm going to take the 20 points per game. Just because you even look at their schedule, they're playing Rice at home, Wyoming at home, Kansas at home, Houston, which doesn't necessarily scare me. That one's on the road. But I think they have a favorable schedule. And you just mentioned all the talent they're going to have this year. You're going to have Jalen Ford and Anthony Hill anchoring the linebacker corps. You're going to have Barron Sorrell, who looked really good last year. He's going to have another year of experience under his belt. The biggest position I feel like they have to replace is at defensive tackle with Keandre Colbert and Moro Jomo. Neither of those guys were huge impact players. And like you said, the transfer portal. How about Jalen Catalon? I think he's going to have an instant impact with safety. Gavin Holmes is another one to watch coming in from Wake Forest. I think this Texas team is going to be just as strong on defense this year, if not stronger, because some of these key guys have another year of experience under their belt. And their biggest loss, DeMarvion Overshown, you got Anthony Hill, who's that extremely talented freshman coming in there. I'm going to say real talk. I think, like you said, it'll probably be similar, but I think with the scheduling and the returning talent, I think they can hit around that 20-point per game mark. So I'm going to say real talk on that. So I'm bought in on the defense. We talked a lot about the offense. Let's put it all together. Texas will make a New Year's Six Bowl this year for the first time since that 2018 year where they made the Sugar Bowl. BS or Real Talk? Michael, what do you think?
I gotta go real talk here, just because of all we talk about returning talent and the schedule that we just mentioned. We just kind of ran down here with the home games that might not be as difficult as we would think. I think they have to at least win 10 games next year. I mean, I think they have to be competing for a Big 12 championship next year if they don't want to look as a bust. I mean, I think they have obviously the deep receiving core we talked about with Worthy, Nayor, Whittington, A.D. Mitchell coming in, obviously people like that, along with J.T. Sanders, who made a big jump last year, a big name call. I mean, Quinn is on track to maybe have a breakout year. I mean, he showed glimpse of obviously all year, and then against Washington in the bowl game, I think he was really showing what he could do. I mean, he's also lost a lot of weight. I think he's starting to realize he needs to take off more, and he needs to be more of a running threat too. And then Baxter and Brooks obviously have big shoes to fill, but I think they can, with the offense, how it can spread out nicely. I mean, I think that's where they can kind of hop in. Also, and then obviously big defensive names we talked about on the defensive line. We have Sweat, Murphy, and Collins coming back. I think that's going to be a big. I think they were one of the leading teams in QB pressure last year. So I think if they can keep that up, this team can obviously be a real deal.
Yeah, I like Collins too. He flashed a ton of potential in the 2021 season. Didn't really see as much from him last year. I'll be interested to see Vondre Sweat, huge space eater in the middle. He can fill in kind of that Cobra and Ojomo route. Yeah, I'm going to say Real Talk as well. I think this is the year for Texas, especially with that impending move to the SEC. This is their best chance to make it for maybe a year or two while they acclimate to the SEC. Definitely the easiest schedule they're probably going to have for the foreseeable future. 7 home games, a lot against weaker opponents. The Bama one will be a big test, but once you get outside of that, you look at the Big 12 and you say, well, maybe one loss in there, but this really shouldn't be a team that should be dropping a whole ton with the returning quarterback, with the receiver room as deep as it is, with an offensive line that returns all 5 starters. Maybe you'll see a change if someone like Cole Hudson gets swapped out, but this is a team with honestly a lot of returning talent. Stark's done a good job in the transfer portal, getting guys like Catalan and Holmes in to kind of help shore up a couple things on defense. Anthony Hill was a huge recruit. This Texas team just has a ton of pieces. They have an easier schedule. I think this has got to be the year. They got to win double-digit games. They got to find a way to get back kind of to the top where this team and program used to be.
Yep, and I mean we've been saying that. I mean I feel like it's a broken record every year with this Texas team. We're saying this is what they're going to do. This is what they can do. Hopefully this year they can just prove it. Hoping they can just kind of get over that hump, like they had probably the worst decade of Texas football ever. They're out of that now. I think it's time that they kind of make another pump as a push as a top program in the nation.
Going to be fun to see. They'll kick off their season September 2nd against Rice, but of course the reason we're talking about right now, the orange-white game coming up tomorrow, and we're not done talking about it yet. Daily Texan reporter Hunter Dworaczyk, he's going to be covering the game tomorrow. He's about to join this show. He's going to get you caught up on everything you need to know ahead of tomorrow's contest. We'll be right back on the 1-0 Sports Show. into the 1-0 Sports Show. Daily Texan football reporter Hunter Dworaczyk joining the show. Hunter, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. You know, the football weather is upon us. I'm excited to get back talking football with you guys.
Yes, it's good to have you back on the 1-0 airways. I think it was this time last year we were grilling you about Texas baseball and going to Omaha.
Hey,
so
I was right, you know.
yeah, there you go. The facts. I think that one is still used in our intro. So we're gonna trust you, obviously. So you're about to tell us if football's going to win a national championship this year.
We'll see.
Let's start simple. Let's start just with obviously Texas been in spring football this last 6 weeks or so. What's the biggest takeaway you've had just kind of from watching this Texas football team and kind of keeping tabs on them during spring football?
Yeah, so I think my biggest takeaway from the team so far is that Quinn Ewers looks like someone that's not going to lose his job. Mm-hmm. He looks fit. He looks more like athletic than he did last year. More better weight. He looks more serious. As much as the mullet was iconic. Yeah. He's cut back. I think Sarkisian said that he entered the season or like the spring with intentionality, and looks apart. Sark said he's been better with the decisions, so I think he's gonna be someone that's not gonna. They'll probably wait till the fall to announce that he's the guy, but I think he's the guy.
I know all Texas fans want to see a big step forward from him in year 2.
And then obviously we're talking about offensive players and positioning. Who do you want to keep your eye on coming in for tomorrow? Yeah,
so I think the offensive group that I'm really looking at is just kind of touched on it earlier in the show, the running back group.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know how much Jonathan Brooks is going to play tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I think he'll get some snaps, but he's probably nursing some injuries and stuff. They said Keelan Robinson won't play. But I'm really excited to see, Cedric Baxter. Mm-hmm. And one guy that I think Texas fans are kind of sleeping on a little bit is Savion Red.
Yeah.
I went to the media availability yesterday, and the players were all crazy about him. And sounds like he's a weapon, and seems like hopefully Sarkisian can find ways to utilize him as a sort of like, Debo Samuel type player. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say, last time Texas moved a running back or one player from an offensive position to running back, it worked out pretty good. Well, that's a good point on Savion Red, so I hadn't really been talking about that today. Let's look to the other side of the ball. Who's either a player or a defensive position group that you're going to be keeping your eye on tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm really pumped to see Anthony Hill tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I think it's kind of rare these days to be able to recruit someone that's just so natural at the linebacker position, because normally with the Big 12 you kind of have to shift safeties over to play linebacker. So I think just seeing Anthony Hill out there, seeing how he pairs with the linebackers around him, and I think that's probably what I'm gonna be looking forward to.
Him and Jalen Ford.
Jalen Ford hop in the leadership role. We can kind of hop behind with Overshawn gone, but I mean, hey, it's something you got to look forward to. And then talking about freshmen coming in, who do you think are you most excited to see tomorrow?
I really hate to say it, but I'm so excited to see Arch Manning. It's just I feel like it's the easy answer. I feel like like I said earlier, Quinn Ewers is a guy, but something about seeing a Manning uniform in the burnt orange is gonna be pretty exciting. I'm not expecting too much out of him, but just seeing how he commands the offense, if he can get the guys dialed in and see if he's on top of the plays and stuff, will be pretty good to see. Because I don't think 13, 14 practices or something. See how he looks after that. That's what I'm really excited to see.
Mm-hmm. We've got they got Hill, Baxter, and Manning. They got some pretty exciting freshmen that Texas fans will get to see in action tomorrow. Now let's look forward a little bit to this upcoming year. Who's one player that you're concerned might be a little bit underperformer, who maybe Texas fans are too high on heading into the year?
Yeah, so I think the expectations for Jalen Catalon are really high, considering that he's missed the whole year practically last season. I think Texas fans are kind of expecting him to just hop into the safety role and just be shut down, but I think it might take a couple games. I know he should be fully healthy to go for the fall, but I think it's going to take some time to be the player he was in 2020 and 2021.
For sure.
Oh yeah, and I know Arkansas fans aren't happy he's in the burnt orange. So I mean, so they're I don't think they're going to be looking for him to do anything. But now let's kind of flip to the other side. Who do you think will have a breakout season this year?
So I think it's going to be hard for him to get opportunities because the offensive line was really cohesive last year. But I've heard a lot of good things about Cam Williams in the spring ball. He's slimmed down, which is hard to say he's slimmed down because he was like 375, now he's 360, but he looks. I just know I would not want to be on the offensive line receiving end of Cam, or defensive line receiving end of Cam Williams, and sounds like he's gonna play right guard tomorrow because with DJ Campbell out, so it's gonna be exciting to. I'll be keeping my eye on him. He just looks like a unit, and I want to say one of the defense line. I want to say Brian Murphy yesterday said that he's like the guy he like least looks forward to going against in practice. So I can imagine why. So it seems like he blocks angry, and I think he'll be. If he gets his opportunity, I think he'll break out.
I could definitely see it. I think guard is probably the position with the bigger question marks. Trying to figure out Hayden Connor and Cole Hudson are really your guys again for this year. So I think if you're going to have a player slot in, I think it's going to be at the guard position on the offensive line. So definitely be keeping our eye on Cam Williams. And our final one, the Daily Texan people love us when we do this. When we do this to them. So let's make a prediction. As it stands right now, how many games do you see this Texas team winning this upcoming season?
Okay, prediction time again. You know,
Yeah.
trying to go 2-0. You know what I'm saying? You know. Yeah. So I think the biggest question mark is gonna be like the defense. I think the offense, as much as like concerns it was last year, I'm pretty confident the offense is going to improve. Defense is going to be about seeing how they can place the defensive line, because it's one thing to. I feel like the front line talent's still there, but last year they were be so dangerous because they were like being able to switch and stuff. You know, like Sarkisian on that one show, he said that he felt like this looks like his team. It's year 3. It's time to perform. I think in the regular season, Texas wins 10 games.
That's fair.
I like that pick. I think it is because you got that road trip against Bama on the top. It's hard to go undefeated in conference play, but I think 10 is a very realistic target for them this year.
Yeah, I mean, even though their schedule may not be as strong as it's been in the previous years, I think there's always that time as a trap game you're going to fall into where you might drop that one. So, I mean, obviously. But 10, I think 10 is a respectable number.
It's going to be fun to see them get in action tomorrow. Hunter, thank you for joining us for this block. But don't worry, he's not going anywhere. He's got 10 more predictions to make with that. We're picking some MLB and NBA playoffs when we come back here on the 1-0 Sports Show. Welcome back on to the 1-0 Sports Show. It's prediction time. It's time for our weekly pick'ems. We've got some baseball, we've got some NBA playoffs, and we've got some Texas sports to close this out. So let's start with baseball. Can the Tampa Bay Rays stay undefeated against the Toronto Blue Jays tonight? Michael, who do you have in that one?
I definitely think it's a tough game. I don't know if the Rays can keep it going. I mean, they kind of had an easier schedule to start off, so I got to go with the Blue Jays on this one.
I'm going to say not so fast. I just looked up Toronto's projected starter. His ERA is over 11. Give me the Rays to stay undefeated. Hunter, what do you think?
Yeah, I think if the Rays win tonight, they break the modern record. So I think they're going to do it. I think they go Rays.
How about a little Texas showdown? Texas Rangers at the Houston Astros tonight at 7:10. Hunter, who do you have in that one?
This might be a homer pick, but I think Luis Garcia is going to get it right. He's going to fix the ship, so I'm going Astros.
I'm a Houston person. I'm just going to go Rangers. I feel like the Rangers have had a little bit more impressive start to the year, so we'll pick the Rangers. They'll probably come in fired up. And the Astros, I looked at this other day. The last couple of seasons, they've also started 6-7 in the first 13 games, so no need to press the panic button. They'll be fine. But I'll take the Rangers tonight just on momentum. Michael, what do you think?
I do think the Rangers have had a more impressive start to the season, but I got to go with the Astros. I think they're a more talented team. I think that, like you just said, they started off 6-7. They just won a World Series last year. So, I mean, obviously, I think this one they can start turning around.
Now, an interesting one. Playing game tonight. Bulls at the Heat. Hunter, who do you have in that one?
You know, DeMar's daughter's not going to be there, so I got the Heat.
I agree. I feel like this is just a matchup where the Heat finally wake up. The Bulls not as good as the Hawks. I think the Heat take care of business at home tonight. I think they actually get it done after an abysmal showing on Tuesday night. Michael, what do you think?
I got to complete the sweep. I think the Heat do it too. I mean, they had an awful showing, obviously against their first round matchup. So I think they can flip it around here.
Interesting one. How about the Thunder and the Timberwolves? Can the Timberwolves bounce back from Tuesday night's meltdown? Michael, what do you think?
I think the Thunder are a very hot team right now. They're very young. They're very talented. But I think the Wolves. I mean, they almost beat the Lakers with a depleted team and a struggling Ant. So I think they get it done, especially with the home game.
I'm going to say Thunder. I think the Timberwolves, they just haven't impressed me in the playoffs. It just seems like they're a little bit dysfunctional. I think Rudy Gobert is a locker room issue. That dude seems like he was a problem in Utah. He's a problem in Minnesota. I'll take the hot hand of the Thunder. I'll ride SGA into the playoffs. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the locker room dysfunction is a huge concern, but I think Thunder are a little inexperienced and still young, so I go with the Timberwolves.
Knicks at the Cavs. This one on Saturday. It's the 5-4 matchup in the East. Hunter, who do you have in that one?
I like the combination of Donovan Mitchell and even Mobley, so I'll go with the Cavs for this.
Great pick. I think Cavs game one at home. I think Cleveland gets it done.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell has shown that he can win games, especially in the first round, at least in the playoffs. And then obviously Jared Allen's also a big part of that team's success. I think the Cavs get it done too.
How about this on the big old California matchup? Warriors at the Kings, game one tomorrow night on ABC. Hunter, who's your pick in that one?
You know, I think there's going to be an offensive showdown. I don't think the Warriors are going to be able to bring the defense on the road, so I'm going to pick the Kings.
I'm going to say Warriors. I just think it's that playoff pedigree. I think they know how to get stuff done in the postseason, so I'm going to go Warriors game one. They teach the Kings how to perform in the playoffs.
I got to go with the Kings, too. I mean, the Warriors have struggled on the road. I mean, they are getting Andrew Wiggins back, which is big for them, but I think the Kings start off strong in the series.
Ooh, this one's an interesting one, too. Lakers at the Grizzlies, the 7-2 matchup in the West. This one, 2 o'clock on Sunday on ABC. Michael, who do you have in this one?
This might be a homer pick because I'm a LeBron fan and Lakers fan, but I could go with the Lakers. I mean, they've had the best record in the NBA since the trade deadline. I think they keep the heat going. I don't think they have the matchups. I think they match up pretty well against the Grizzlies.
I agree. I'm going to ride the hot hand, too, especially... Again, it's just a Grizzlies team that's young, that hasn't necessarily shown that playoff pedigree. I think LeBron gets it done, especially, too. I mean, they're coming off a great comeback on Tuesday, so I think they keep rolling into Sunday. Hunter, who do you think?
You know, this is a little weird one. I think my gut says that the Lakers are eventually going to take the series, but I think the Grizzlies come out tonight and get the win at home.
That one, definitely one to watch. There's a lot of great matchups in the West. This one, too, is another one. Clippers at the Suns for game one there on Sunday, 7 o'clock TNT. Hunter, who do you have in that one?
I think the Suns just have too much star power. I think, with KD and Booker, it's going to be fun to watch. Haven't got to tune in yet, but I'm excited to be able to watch that one.
I agree. I think the Thunder kind of made that trade. They kind of put all their chips into this season with KD. They said, we're going to go out, challenge for a title. I think they'd start on the right track of the win over the Clippers on Sunday. So give me the Suns in that one as well.
I got to complete the sweep. I think the Suns do show out, and they do protect their home court.
Texas softball, they are playing Kansas this weekend. So the question that we have, guys, how many games is Texas softball going to take from Kansas? Michael, let's start with you. Out of 3, by the way, 3-game series.
Texas softball has had a very impressive season to start for sure. They've been very competitive with Oklahoma, which is obviously the best team that you ever see in softball. So I think they take at least 2.
I'm going to say 3. Texas softball, I think so far they've proven that they can beat the teams they're supposed to beat. Kansas is 1-5 in conference play. They're right down there in the cellar with Iowa State, who Texas impressively swept. So I think Texas comes up with another impressive sweep against Kansas. Hunter, what do you think?
Yeah, so I did some research, and Texas has a 15-game win streak in softball against Kansas. So I think it goes to 18. It's a big broom for you got to bring.
Yeah, I know. My goodness, yeah, that's they got a broom date at the park on Sunday or something like that to get that many brooms. And then we'll end up, guys. We've flown through this. Shout out conciseness.
Yes.
We're on it. We're flying through this. Final pick of the show. Texas baseball, they're traveling up I-35 to Waco this weekend to take on the Baylor Bears. How many games will Texas take out of the 3-game series? Hunter, you were a baseball analyst last year, so give us your thoughts. How's the series shaping up for the Horns?
So, a lot of people probably a little pessimistic about the Horns after the, whole Texas State debacle. But it's the 5th game in 5 days. So, they're facing a Baylor team that hasn't looked very impressive. They got swept at home against Mercer, so I think Texas sweeps them.
Noted powerhouse, the Mercer Bears.
Yes, they don't have Kyle Lewis.
Oh man, yeah, I agree. I think it's a sweep. Baylor's only 12-21 on the year. This is just not a good baseball team. 4-8 in conference play. I think Texas rights the ship. They've had a couple days to rest, like you said. They went through a barn burner, 5 games in 5 days. Ending with a Texas State team that, they sold out their ballpark and they had people overflowing in the softball stadium. Texas won that game, but it couldn't get done the next night. That's a Texas State team that was hungry for blood. I think Texas rights the ship after a couple days of rest. They sweep Baylor. I agree with you, Hunter. Michael, bring us home. What do you think? Are they going to get the sweep or not?
No sweep. I don't. I hate taking 3 games in baseball. I really do, because you never know how the bats are going to be that game. You never know how it's always iffy. So yes, they're a way better team. Baylor's had an awful season so far. They got swept by Mercer. Mercer's obviously the bigger Bears. So I think they definitely win the series, but I don't think they can take all 3.
Okay, Michael taking the middleman answer on both. Hunter and I are all in with sweeps. Michael says, "Hold your horses. We'll take 2 out of 3." Well, that's going to do it for us on the 1-0 Sports Show. We do want to remind you, we just took the graphic off the bottom of the screen, but this week is 24/7 week at TSTV. If you feel so inclined to support everything we do at Texas Student Media, which includes TSTV, includes the hard-working folks downstairs at the Daily Texan and some of our other entities, definitely check out supportstudentvoices.org. It's an opportunity to donate, and I believe tax refundable. I think tax deductible, big tax guy. But yeah, definitely an opportunity. If you feel so inclined, we would really appreciate your support. So again, that's supportstudentvoices.org. Just trying to fundraise so we can continue getting the equipment we need to really get the real world experience that we need here at UT to prepare us for internships and jobs down the road. I know all of us can speak to how big Texas Student Media has been for us. So definitely encourage you to check out supportstudentvoices.org if you feel so inclined. But Hunter, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Pleasure.
It's great having you back on the 1-0 Airways. We'll be clipping all your predictions and sending them out here in about 5 months to see how they went. But anyways, thanks for coming on. Mike, fun as always.
Of course.
Great show. Shout out to Will Iger for joining us earlier in the show, keeping us in line during B Block. And how about Samantha Pearl, our hardworking sports director? She was running everything behind the scenes this morning, so massive shout out to her. For everyone here on the 1-0 staff, for Samantha Master Control, we say good night, and we'll see you next week.